I'm about to lose my brain stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make sense.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Amadeus.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Amadeus.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Amadeus.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Amadeus.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I won't always smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets. We only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen QueenAShakur show. I'm your host, Queen QueenAShakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so today I have some guests on here. We're going to have a panel discussion. I have Lisa Cabrera, True Royal, and Straight No Chaser with the Queen. So everybody, let's get some fire emojis in the chat for these lovely ladies. All right. Let's get ready to get into it. And before we get started with the commentary, I'm going to have a word from my sponsor, okay, at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, with that all being said, you can pick up your 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com, go to Lisa Crafts, and also on Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see you all. Hell nah. Nessie X. All right. Greta is here. Swift, Pearly, Beverly, Capricorn is Kathy BTC, Dan. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Everyone tuned into the Queen. Okay, let's get this party started. All right. Now, you all know that I have been going in on Kabami and talking about these little minions of hers, specifically D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, and Roland Swollen Martin. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, first things first, Lisa just told me something very interesting that I didn't even know. So Lisa, you want to lead with that, please?
Sure. Okay. Now, most of you that were on my live stream already know this. I did a live stream on Kamala and Joe Biden administration are being sued by 15 states because they're enrolling illegals into Obamacare. And, and they're pretty much saying they're not entitled to it, because Obamacare is funded by taxpayer money. And they said it's not right that they just show up at the border and they get all these goodies when they get here. But that's what they're doing. And now they are being sued.
And I find this all very interesting. See, this goes back to what we have been saying, what I've been saying, specifically the people who oppose Kamala Harris. She's not going to do anything for us. She said she wasn't. She already told us to our faces. And the whole problem is, the main problem with her that I have is all of this stuff that her and the Biden administration collectively have been doing for these illegals. Okay, we know the woman that had the receipt left in the store with about $13,000 worth of food stamps left on it. So what was the original balance? I have questions. And then also $4,400 in cash. Now they're giving them Obamacare. They're making states give them benefits that they are not supposed to be entitled to, while we have people here in the United States who were born here who don't even have adequate health care.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
a darn shame.
Yeah.
And here it is, right?
You ever notice the same people that always complain about us getting reparations do not loudly complain about these illegals getting all these things? They don't have
Yeah.
nothing to say.
Oh, yeah. And I have questions about that, because are they just, it seems like they just hate on the black folk. Okay, they don't care about anybody else getting anything from the sounds of it. Now, I just happened to look that up, Lisa, what you were talking about. It says 15 states sue Biden-Harris administration for enrolling non-citizens in Obamacare. And then a coalition of states led by Kansas has sued the Biden-Harris administration to block the federal government from providing free health care through the taxpayer-funded Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare, to foreign nationals in the United States illegally. You know what? This is nothing but a slap in the face. Now, these are the same people, this is the same administration that gave Social Security benefits to the Ukrainian immigrants who came here. And how is that even possible?
And then, do you know that there's 46 states that they found out that are enrolling these illegal immigrants, or the ones that say that they're seeking asylum without checking? They're enrolling them, and they're actually registered to vote. So I don't know if you know that is 46 states that has been doing this. And they said it, to me, the Republicans are telling now, because they have a risk that they done pull the Kamala card out on them.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're telling their little tricks, but it's been going on for a while, but it's enough to be concerned, because they're coming in, they're getting driver's license. Then they said that, then it said that most of them, almost 80,000 of them, have criminal records, but they come over here after they get done doing God knows what in their own country. They come over here and get a clean slate and get the, as y'all say, the goodies that we work for. It's beyond a slap in the face when we are always told, well, Black people are doing this and that to themselves, but yet we can never get a handout. And they think that most of our Black people think it's wrong for us as Black people to ask for something during this election. We're supposed to just shut up and just take whatever as usual without asking for anything, while we are watching them take care of people who contributed nothing to this society.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and can I just add to what Tina just said?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the prisons. They emptied out their asylums.
Yes, they did.
People with all kinds of mental issues, they also came across the border too. And something's wrong, because as soon as these people get over here, they start turning up and committing all kinds of crime. That right there should be a red flag that you got a criminal element that came across that border.
Exactly. But they got mad when Trump said it. When Trump said that some of them, I guess, are nice people, but some of them are murderers and rapists. Oh, they got mad, said he was being racist. No, it's true. Some of them are those very same things. Okay. A lot of crime has spiked up since all of these illegal people have come over here. I'm sorry. It's all true. Specifically, things that have been happening to kids. I've been reporting on it for the past 2 or 3 weeks. And so I just find it all interesting. So did any of you listen to the DNC?
Oh, I did.
Have you all been listening?
Yeah, I've been listening to it intently, and like I was sharing with y'all before we started your show, was I happen to live in Kamala and Pelosi country, so I'm in the heart of it up here in the Bay Area. It is so quiet up here. You would think folks would be parading in the streets here in California, given the logistics of it all.
Right.
And it's so quiet. Like before, when she was the VP pick, it wasn't people out in droves or anything like that, because we know her history, and the foundation of Kamala ain't been right from day one. I have been saying to folks for the longest, I said Pelosi do not like her. Now Pelosi had to do what she had to do because she's part of that process, and and to save face, she had
Right.
no other choice and stuff. But up here where I'm at, she is not trusted. She is not liked at all whatsoever. And it is true that what they say about her. The first time I heard anything about Kamala, she was having an open relationship with a married man, which was Willie Brown. I didn't know the woman was a lawyer or what. All I knew, she was on the payroll twice, and people was like, "Wow," That's how I was introduced to Kamala.
And they keep trying to say that the things we've heard about her record are not true. And they keep bringing up this whole thing about the weed. Well, here's the thing with that. And somebody said, well, if they got caught with the weed, then they did the crime or whatever. And so it doesn't matter how many people she sent to jail or prison. Well, okay, that could be true. But what about the people that she allowed to languish in jail, in prison, when she had proof that she withheld? Okay, and in one case, a judge forced her to share to do something about it. She didn't want to do anything. But hold up. Let me just play this video because this guy went and got some receipts on Kabami, and I thought it was very interesting.
So who's the one that lied and said that Kamala Harris was responsible when she was DA of locking up thousands of black people for drug crime?
He doesn't give any sources, so I don't know. But I first heard something like this from Tulsi Gabbard.
But she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
So two differences. One, the claim is about people generally, not black people specifically. And two, there's kind of some tricky language with jail and prison.
Convictions. Do you know how much people actually got locked up and went to jail?
How many?
45. And 45 people last time I checked is nowhere close to 1,000.
Reporting in Mercury News does say that only 45 people were sentenced to state prison for marijuana convictions during Harris's term. But state prison is different from city or county jail. This is from a California lawyer's website. It says a jail is usually reserved for inmates incarcerated for lower level crimes, roughly less than a year, whereas prison is for convictions for more serious or violent crimes. These numbers are more recent than Harris's term at the DA, but it's giving you a rough idea. These are the numbers for distribution of sentences for narcotics convictions. That is, the most common outcomes are county jail with probation or county jail, and it's only this thin sliver of dark blue at the top, which is state prison sentence. So if only 45 people went to state prison, that doesn't mean that only 45 people were locked up. In fact, many more likely went to county jail.
So instead of sending people to jail, there were less convictions for minor drug crimes when she was DA.
Here's a plot showing marijuana-related convictions in San Francisco. This highlighted spike in red is when Harris was district attorney there. To me, it seems like she's convicting more people than just before or just after.
45 people that did go to jail for those crimes.
Prison.
You don't even know how many there were actually African American, because that was 45, including everyone. So my question is, who started and spread this lie of that?
Okay, so nobody was lying. Did you all see that? You saw the graph, right? See,
Yeah.
Here's what they do. When they're trying to debunk the facts of her, they say things like, well, she didn't do that when she was the attorney general. Well, what about when she was the DA? Okay, what about the things she did when she was the DA? Because those are a whole nother set of statistics. But also, like the guy was saying, now he's talking about people that went to prison. There was only 45. Now, a lot of people don't go to prison for marijuana these days, but they do go to jail. Okay,
Yeah.
and so that's what was being talked about. And let's not forget the truancy and the innocent man, Jamal Truelove, and all of that. Okay, and evidence being withheld from a man who was on death row for quadruple homicide. And she had the proof, or she was able to let them do DNA testing for him, but she didn't want to. Okay,
Well,
she didn't want to do that.
I don't know if you're aware of this. Tulsi Gabbard that brought that up on Kamala during the debate.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's on the terrorist watch list now.
Oh, yes. I reported that a couple of days ago.
They think Kamala got something to do with that.
Well, of course she does.
Oh yeah,
Of
she
course
does.
she does.
Because she was the one that brought that up in her face. And Kamala didn't like that mess.
Exactly. And another thing, I'm glad you brought that up, because here's another thing. What is so crazy to me is that people like D.L. Hughley and others, like the young man in the video, the young black man, they try to debunk the fact that she sent thousands of people to jail for marijuana and then laughed about it. They try to debunk that, but the fact of the matter is, Tulsi Gabbard said that during the 2020 debate. She said it to Harris's face, and Harris didn't deny it. So why is anyone else trying to deny it? If that were not true, she could have easily debunked it herself. She didn't do that. She just went on to justify why she did certain things while she was in office.
I wanted to add something. You mentioned something real deep to me. Okay, so you're talking about a number of these celebrities that are defending her, and they really need to watch it. Do any of y'all know about the situation with Nina Simone's estate?
Yes, I reported on that too. I have all the receipts on Kabami. Yes.
Yeah. So, and a lot of them are right here in California. That stuff can happen to their families too as well, because Nina Simone only has one daughter, and for her to be going through all of that stuff makes absolutely no sense.
That's right.
This woman.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, beloved.
The only thing I want to add is this woman is true to her nature, and I've been saying this for the longest. When you have black folks, so-called, I'm using so-called black folks in the positions that she is in right now, she has demonstrated something to the enemy to let them know, okay, you don't have no problem just wiping us out, because what they're doing, and I know a lot of y'all see it in this election season, is they're gonna keep using the fear tactics. They're gonna keep using the black woman, because you got a lot of these black sororities now, out here campaigning for her and all of that. And that right there, they can just blasé over us like they usually do. Nothing is going to change. And I'm getting tired of getting these emails from our folks being afraid of Trump. And I said, Trump ain't did nothing to you. We know what Trump is. He shows what he is. See, this is where he's shooting himself in the foot. They have this information, but he can't get past himself he just can't quite articulate it. So he just keep working on what he has. It's just amazing. So I guess he just think he could just throw a little bit out here and there, and hopefully somebody catch it. But it's just the same old script at the end of the day. And the last thing I want to say is there are going to be some people who going to come here and listen to what we're going to talk about, and they're going to say, see, I knew y'all was for this person opposed for that person. Y'all ain't listening at all whatsoever. Listen to all of it. You come in here and get little bits and pieces of it, and then form a conclusion, and then have your behinds up on your shoulders. You're not great listeners at the end of the day. That's all I have to say.
Can I say this? A lot of them, like you said, to piggyback off of what you said, they're not great listeners because they are wanting to drink the Kool-Aid. They're like, go back to, I've heard black people say, well, she is black. Kamami is black because she went to a HBCU. Okay.
So did Rachel Dolezal.
Exactly. And so did the white woman. And it's like, to me, and I said it on our other show, what does it mean to be black? When we keep saying people are black, okay, what we're saying is her grandparents, if you look at her family pictures, it doesn't look like our grandparents' family pictures. I don't see any struggle in her family eyes. They have a culture that was not stripped from them. The whole point of putting black people in office is because we want to put that black person there, because that black person is supposed to resonate on the struggle that we as black people go through. So if I put you in office, I'm putting you there because I'm cheering that you get a position, and now you use that position to come back and help us. But we have all these black people, all these mammies and Sammys, like Steve Harvey and all them, they get a little piece of the house. They like the house slaves. They got a little piece of freedom, and they don't want the field slaves to run or do anything. Everybody just keep going. They forget where they came from. But the whole point of putting somebody black in the office is because you resonate with the black struggle. You don't give our resources to people who did not do anything in this country. Our grandparents have been suffering. Our great-grandparents have suffered. That's Kamala right. Doesn't represent black. When we say that she's not black, you don't represent the black people. I know you don't represent the black people that need help.
No,
you represent the partially black people that could just get by and would have passed the paper bags test. And I lay my plane.
With that all been said, this is what I said too. I said this a few days ago, if not yesterday, that yeah, she does not relate to us. If she did, she would never have said, oh, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people. And at the end of the day, I read somewhere that her family actually owned Jamaican slaves. Yes. So I'm sorry, my ancestors were slaves. Her family owned slaves. How is that akin to anything that I have experienced?
But you know what? They got a history of doing this, though. You know, remember, Obama was biracial. His white side of the family had slaves.
Right.
His mom's side had slaves. That's a pattern. It seems like if you are of any brown or black color, you got to be that kind of person that got that type of background.
That type of
living. Anybody with our kind of background, you know, they don't want to deal with our attitude and us demanding for, you know, reparations and us pointing that finger back at them on the atrocities they have done. So no, they don't want anybody like us in office.
No,
exactly.
They give you the illusion of putting someone black in it, but they're not really doing it.
Yeah, the illusion of inclusion is what I call it.
The illusion that we got past this thing called slavery without any wounds. It's the illusion that black people is doing okay and we don't need the help. But as black people, we have pushed that illusion on ourselves because most of us are too proud to say that we're struggling. That's why we have half of our black people running around. The first thing we want to buy when we get money, not saying we, some of them that's lost, because now it's time to separate ourselves. Those that are lost, they will buy the first name brand. They will flaunt everything that represents white America. I asked the question, like, what is it really to be free? What are we looking for as black people? This election, we should be speaking up. What are we looking for? Because we are being tricked to believe that freedom is how white people live. That's why we got D.L. Hughley and Steve Harvey and everybody. And they ignore the real voices that have sense. Like, I know everybody doesn't agree with Umar, but he's a popular black person that speaks to what we need, but they will never go after people like that to speak to represent us. They always go after those that represent us that feel like they've been dusted off, healed up, and they speak for black people because black people are not suffering anymore, and we should feel sorry for everybody else and just vote for Kamala while she gives our goodies to everybody but black people. I mean, it's ridiculous. I had more money in my pocket when Trump was in office.
Somebody else literally just told me that today. I ran into an old friend when I was at the grocery store, and we were having a discussion about Kabami because she asked me what I thought of her, and she said the same thing you just said. Okay, that's the consensus.
Black people are scared to admit it because see these upper class black people like Roland Martin, them they might be they're not suffering like us, but us black people like me, remember through the hysteria of the I don't know if we could say cold, what, you know, the virus.
Just call it stupid 19.
I had to work through that. I had more money in my pocket back then than I do now, because now all my money is going out to bills, groceries. The Democratic Party makes sure that we do not have anything to live off of as black people, and we watch them lift everyone else up. It's an insult to see a receipt where an immigrant who has not did anything get $13,000 in food stamps, and then we laugh at each other if the government wants to give us food stamps. Give me food stamps, because I'm tired of spending my money on food that they're going to throw away and put it on sale anyway if they cannot convince us to buy the high prices. then they poison us, and we have all this going on, and we're arguing about Kamala and Trump. Kamala has been in office. Y'all out there, Kamala has already been in office 3.5 years. If I'm not mistaken, she was the deciding voter for this budget plan that we're in. So we can see with our own eyes, we can see, feel, taste, and everything. We had a better economy, or we had more money in our pockets when Trump was in office. Not saying Trump is everything, than what we're going through with the Biden administration. They keep saying there's no money, but we watch every state saying how they're issuing out billions of dollars to non-American citizens. And I land my plane.
I want to piggyback off of Tina. There's something that I want to mention. I often say that when you talk about a certain type of Black folk, they're mirroring the system in their household, and they so want to have what the enemy have. That's a fear, because everything is fear-based. But it's something that I will not let go. And anytime I get a chance to speak on this, I'm going to speak on this. So I'm going to talk about the Black farmers. Okay, so when Biden becomes president, they literally begged this man not to put I guess his position would be the agriculture or whatever. I could be wording it wrong. That would be ahead of that department. And he had that position before, and he had messed over the Black farmers. Okay, so some billions of dollars were put away, allocated just for the Black farmers. Well, they didn't release the money immediately, purposely. And so then the enemy steps in and say that's in a form of discrimination, and they had it all tied up in court. And every once in a blue moon, a few people would put it up in Biden's face, and he would scream and holler at you. He got a reputation of that too. So anyhow, people wasn't paying attention to it. I kept paying attention to it. Okay, so it ain't even been 3 weeks now, and they didn't release that money just out of nowhere. I thought it was tied up in court. Now you didn't have these Black farmers suffer. Okay, now you done release the money. Now you want them to vote too. You want them to get out there and say, oh, we got some money. Or they done lost their farms. The few that do have their farms, they done borrow so much money. When they do get some money, it go right back out the door and everything. I want to point that out, because folks got to eat at the end of the day. And
right.
And that's another form of keeping the prices up high in food. It was like when my grandfather in Arizona, he worked for, now this man had a PhD, but he's driving trucks for some orange juice company. And his job in the state of Arizona was to dump the oranges in the desert. That was his job. People don't be knowing about this. They'll take meat and fish and dump it in the ocean to keep the price up and stuff. And Lisa said something very profound to me, because there is an audio out, and I had a girlfriend of mine argue with me yesterday about this, of Biden screaming at Black folks, and Kamala was sitting right there with him, and he wanted to make sure that wasn't nothing being recorded. Well, somebody in there recorded, and Lisa said, yeah, once he got what he wanted, which was the Black vote, anytime Black folks come asking for anything, he'll start screaming at y'all. Pay attention to these things. So she just gonna keep doing what she is told to do. And then the last thing I want to say, now her VP pick, he don't give a damn about us either. When over there on Roland's channel, it was Black folks over there crying. They were so touched. They was out here crying. I said, I'll be damned. What is y'all crying over? Have y'all learned anything?
No, clearly they haven't.
No, they
And
haven't.
they haven't. I want to say something about the black farmers. Now, first
Okay.
off, thank you, DSB, for your kind contribution, beloved. She says, Shalom, Queen, Tina Berry, Lisa, and True Royal, my warrior sisters. And also, DSB just gifted the channel 10 memberships. Okay, 10 memberships. So thank you, beloved. I really appreciate you for all that you do for this channel and my spiritual channel. All right. And so thank you so much and very kindly. Now, with that all being said, as it pertains to these black farmers and the money being released, yes, I reported on that, I do believe, or at least I did read that some days ago. But all of that money doesn't even go to the black farmers. It goes to other minorities as well. And that's the gag of it all, because the black farmers are the ones who filed for it. And they were the ones that experienced the racism. And even when they first filed for it, the white farmers came out and said that that was racist for them to be getting anything that they didn't get. When, I'm sorry, why were they filing for something in the first place? Because they got nothing. So it's like, even when our people are victimized and discriminated against, and then when they fight to get what they want or what is due to them, then the same people that discriminated against us comes back and claims that they're the ones now being discriminated against. So it's just all real crazy as far as I'm concerned. But let's get into the bootlicks of it all. Because you said they were over there on Roland Swollen Martin's channel crying. Well, that's no surprise. I mean, he cried himself last election cycle. Okay, when Biden won, he was riding past the polling centers crying, real tears. Okay, and if I see Van Jones cry one more time, I'm going to pass out. But let me go to this video that I did about D.L. Hughley, because he had a conversation with Vlad the other day. And to me, he exposed himself. I don't know if he noticed it, but that's what he did. And so let me share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. QueenAShakur. D.L. Hughley recently did an interview with Vlad, and he went on there, and I don't think he realized how much of a hypocrite he is, or how he completely contradicted himself. Let's get into it.
Trump even compared him to Hitler. Sure. He said he was America. He could be America's Hitler. Yeah. He said he's never Trump guy. I mean, all of the what he was honest, and now he's transactional. What he was is honest. And if your estimation of somebody changes that whip snap, then either you're being bought or you're lying. If your radar is that far off, your moral compass is that far off, where in the span of a few years, you could go from Hitler to he should be president of the United States again, then either we can't trust you because your judgment is that flawed, or you're a transactional tool.
So if you don't know, he was talking about J.D. Vance in that clip, basically talking about how J.D. first didn't like Trump, was talking down on him, and now he's wanting Trump to be the president. Well, that's interesting, because he says either that person, someone who does that so quickly, is either a person who's dishonest or that's someone who's been bought. Well, I have to ask, what has he done? Has he been bought, or is he just being dishonest, or both? Because he did exactly the same thing as it pertains to Kamala Harris. Please pay attention.
And we had a conversation at the dinner we had, and it was not always, it got contentious. And I had to apologize to you because I had let a media narrative co-opt my perspective. And I think that tends to happen with women and people of color. I think that we oftentimes hear this call.
So he had a very different opinion of Kamala Harris in the beginning, and he said some things about her, but then came back and apologized. And now he's going so hard in the paint for Kamala and going in on people who look like me if we don't want to vote for her just because he says she's someone who looks like me. Not because of her policies or her issues, but simply because she's supposed to be one of us. At the end of the day, yes. So was he bought? Okay, is he being dishonest? Like I said, I just have questions. But not only that, he also should relate that to Kamala Harris, who also did exactly the same thing as J.D. Vance. Please pay attention.
Position is the same as his position. Is he right?
That is simply false. And let's be very clear about this. When Vice President Biden was in the United States Senate working with segregationists to oppose busing, which was the vehicle by which we would integrate America's public schools, had I been in the United States Senate at that time, I would have been completely on the other side of the aisle. And let's be clear about this. Had those segregationists their way, I would not be a member of the United States Senate.
Now, that was Kamala's stance on Joe Biden when she was running for president herself back in 2020. She called him a whole segregationist, okay? And we all know what that means. But then once Biden chose her as a running mate, this is what she had to say about him.
We did it. We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
So there you have it, the exact same thing, literally. And also he talked about someone being bought. Well, I have questions because Dr. Umar says that Kamala's team offered him $10,000. Now, there it is right there. And if they actually offered Dr. Umar $10,000, how much do you think that they offered someone like a DL or Ricky Smiley or Steve Harvey? Okay. And it wasn't just something that Dr. Umar said. He actually had receipts. Please pay attention. Now, Dr. Umar posted the text message that they allegedly sent him. It says, "Hello, Dr. Umar. This is blank from the Harris 2024 team. You are a big part of the melanated community. Can you help us by completing a Zoom meeting with VP Harris, paying X amount of dollars or looking for about an hour of your time? Please advise if you would like to complete the Zoom call. You can help us to cross the finish line. Harris 2024. Okay, and then he responded back and basically told them that he didn't want their money, but he did want to have the interview and he did want to talk to VP Harris, that he would do so respectfully, but he gave a list of his demands that he wanted. He wanted to talk about mass incarceration, also about miseducation, reparations, police brutality, and a myriad of other things, an anti-hate crime bill for people who look like me and all of that. Needless to say, he never heard back. Please pay attention. And you know, it seems to me that a lot of the Democrats, and yes, I said Democrats, throw rocks and hide their hands, because at the end of the day, I was listening to Barack Obama at the DNC, and he basically talked about how, you know, some people try to bully other people into voting for their candidate or trying to go in on them or guilt them and shame them. And he was clearly talking about Trump and Trump supporters. But I thought it was interesting because that's exactly the same thing that Kamala supporters are doing as well. There's a whole divide, okay, with people like D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, Roland Martin, and Steve Harvey, as I said, because they're all going in on the other people who look like them, who don't agree with their stance, okay, in politics. And I find it absolutely egregious. And not just them. There are a lot of people who look like me that are voting for Kamala, and they're going in on the ones of us who don't feel the same way. They're mad, they're being hateful and trying to shame and blame people and saying all of these crazy things. And at the end of the day, people can vote for whomever they want to. And no one should get angry or upset or bothered or bent out of shape because someone else doesn't like their particular candidates. Okay, so whoever wants to say something, go right ahead.
Can I piggyback off of that with the bullying? I mean, you did hear about the Harris campaign changing the headlines to major news outlets to make it look like the majority of the news outlets are on her side. So they've been basically paying Google ads and different ads, and they're kind of taking the headlines from the major news sources and kind of tweaking the headlines in her favor and pushing it out on social media. So when they talk about bullying, and then they had a fact check that Trump's campaign is not doing that. So all these tricks with the immigrants being able to vote, the headlines being changed, the bullying Black people to vote for Kamala, to using Kamala as blackface so that we can vote for her. All of these are tricks from the Democratic Party. And so it makes us to have to sit down and think, like, why are they pushing so hard?
Right. It seems like the fix is already in as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Yes. Let's not forget that presidents are actually selected, not elected. And I'm glad you brought that up, because here's another thing. They have been pointing out Trump's lies, but no one's been pointing out theirs because they've been lying too. Okay, exactly. They've been lying too. Now, I have a footage of Michelle Obama lying on Trump. Now, I'm sorry, as much as Trump has done, why do you have to make up lies on him? You could just tell the truth about Trump, but no, she chose to lie. Please pay attention.
Taking away our freedom to control our bodies, the freedom to become a mother through IVF like I did.
We want to make it easier for mothers and families to have babies, not harder. That includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America. Like the overwhelming majority of Americans, including the vast majority of Republicans, conservatives, Christians, and pro-life Americans, I strongly support the availability of IVF for couples who are trying to have a precious baby.
Oh my God, what's wrong with Trump's face?
Okay, so sitting up there flat out. So sitting up there flat out lying, okay? But they want to point out somebody else's lies. They do, and this is what I've been telling you guys. They do the same thing that the Republicans do. They do the same thing that Trump does. They just do it in a slick, nefarious way. And so a lot of people don't see it, especially the people who are going so hard in the paint for them without even asking any questions, without even, willing to hold them accountable for the things that they've already done and said. And for us, it's nothing but benign neglect.
And it's funny how she just ran for president. She didn't do any primaries. She hasn't did an interview. She didn't list no policy. She ain't did anything. It's like, isn't it illegal that they raise money so Biden can run for president and they know they were losing, so they just hand it over to her? That's not how it works. But we're here.
That's true. And and the one thing that I've been teaching my grandchildren. Some of them are preteens, and I'm saying this for a reason. And they was like, well, Trump is bad and Campbell is good. And I said, they all lie, babies. I just told them the absolute truth. I said, they all lying to us. So teach them reality, because that's what my father did with me, to keep the confusion down as much as possible within your realm. But what y'all saying is absolutely true. See, what they're doing is they taking, while Trump is out here on the world stage making himself look like a complete buffoon, which we can all agree with that. Whoever is advising him or whatever's going on behind the scenes, they can't seem to get him to focus on what's right there. So they're running with the momentum of that. And then when you hear the voices like us, because I'm having people in my family argue with me. Well, it'll be better than it'll be this and that. And I'm like, wait a minute. What did happen to y'all? They lying to y'all on both ends. But let's look at, we already know what's going on with Trump. That's wide open. But look at how they playing us. See, the Democratic Party, again, I'm gonna keep seeing it over and over, and I know some sisters don't like it. They pimping sisters, and they gonna pimp them again.
Well, at the end of the day, Black people in general allow the Democrats to get away with BS.
Yes,
That's
they
why
do.
they keep doing it. I mean, it's our own fault as far as I'm concerned. When you see that over the 50 plus years, we've been disproportionately voting for them, they haven't done anything for us, and they tell us to our faces. And so at the end of the day, that's Black people's fault. I'm sorry, we let it happen.
That's true.
Now, Lisa, I want to ask you, what do you think about what Ricky Smiley had to say when he went in on Black people who opposed Kamala?
Well, it's the same thing we hear all the time. It was the same thing with Obama. If you remember, it was Tavis Smiley that had raised questions about Obama, and he was heavily attacked. And so it is a pattern among our people. Be so influenced by superficial things instead of being concerned about the issue. Yeah, right. Out here parading herself around and not talking about issues, and nobody is saying anything. Nobody is saying a word about it.
Yeah, because the thing that just was turning my stomach when I was watching the convention last night. I ain't never seen so many people happy. It's like, are y'all up here? I mean, it's just a happy fest and just smiling. And people out here hungry, trying to figure out how they gonna put a meal together. Because let's go back to the food. We've been in these grocery stores. I done seen folks in the grocery store trying to feed their babies and can't fill up the basket. I had my grandkids with me 11 days. 11 days. I spent $700 in 11 damn days on food. It's expensive out here.
Yes,
Yeah,
they say
of course it is.
credit card bills are on an all-time high because people are trying to buy groceries with their credit cards.
Yes, they sure are. And I went to the store, and then like 4 days later, they had ran through that food, had to go back. I said, damn, these kids is eating. Thank goodness we had the money to do it. But there's some folks that can't. I can't imagine how they making it. I just can't imagine.
Yeah, they waiting for them to go. They waiting for them to do a crime. It's like you don't teach us how. You make sure that most Black people don't have farms anymore. Most of us are sitting here starving because we don't know how to grow food. We won't do our money right. We won't go buy land and grow stuff and become farmers because that's not classy. That's not the style. And then they waiting on, they building prisons left and right. And what they want us to do is commit crime so that they can continue to put us in prison. They get free labor from these corporations. And the rest of us get out here and suffer. And so it's okay that, everybody else is eating. It's just most of us is not. White people.
And then there's the stigma. There's a stigma put on getting food stamps. So you worried about getting some food stamps and your babies are hungry. And think about this. A lot of people that's on food stamps now, they work.
Right. Yeah. They're the working poor. They're what you call the working poor. And I'm glad you've raised this point, True Royal, because look at what they're doing psychologically to us. The illegals are getting food stamps and nobody is screaming handout to them. It's only when someone in the Black community is in need of food stamps or any assistance, all of a sudden we got to get shamed over that. Exactly. But if you notice, no other group that comes in here gets shamed over being on public assistance. We're the only ones they do that to.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yep. We're the only ones that are laughed at because we don't speak proper English, even though we're the only ones that had the ancestors that were held back where they couldn't read or write. But
let me say,
it's okay for us to get a foreign person for our customer service jobs, because you notice that.
Let me say this. What you said, Tina, about people being in prison. They want to put people in prison. I'm glad you brought that up because that just reminded me of something else that Kamala did. Now, they try to, discount the fact, deny the fact that she sent people to prison for marijuana or whatever. Okay, let's say she didn't do that. But what she did do, and this is documented, is that she kept nonviolent drug offenders in prison past their time. Did you all know that? And she said she did so when she was questioned about it. It's because they needed bodies in there, because they needed them in there working. Okay, specifically in those private prisons. They need the prison labor. And that's why she kept them in there past their time.
Queen, I heard it come out of her mouth. What you saying is true. I heard her say what you were talking about.
I heard her too. She gave the explanation.
She said, who's gonna do
the work?
Do the work. Like now this is going on throughout the United States, but since I'm in Campbell country and we are in our fire season right now, so the California prisons will train a group of men to fight these fires, and they have to be trained exactly the way a firefighter is trained. They have to learn the sign language and all. They make $1 a day. That's all they make. Then when they get out of jail, they can't get a job working as a firefighter. And firefighters up here in California, they're making 6 figures.
But you know what? It's not just keeping people in there beyond their time. That is really the root cause of why these cops are jailing so many of our people that are innocent. It's over that prison work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's slavery
there in the first place and kept in there for decades.
Exactly.
It's all over that prison work.
Yeah. And in fact, some of the people who invest in private prisons a few years ago, in fact, sued because the prisons weren't being full as they wanted them to. Right. And that's absolutely why they arrest Black people disproportionately, because it's slavery. It's the same thing as slavery.
Because they do, if you read the whole concept behind, especially private prisons, they write in their contracts that they will keep the prisons at a 90% capacity at all lives.
Yeah.
There's
And when
no
they don't
do that, right? There's no way to do that unless you pile up a bunch of innocent people in there too.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And then a few years ago, there was a case where a judge who doesn't look like me was busted for sending a teen who is my skin tone, selling him basically to a private prison. Okay, so this is the nefariousness of it all. At the end of the day, yeah, Kamala doesn't have a problem keeping people in prison even after they've served their time. Okay, so let's hear what Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey, and the rest of the fools have to say about that. Okay, but I'm going to go to this footage of Ricky Smiley, or this audio of Ricky Smiley going in on people about Kamala. I'm going to fast forward in some cases because the guy's giving commentary in between. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance.
How about that? Let's start there. I don't care what and I'm talking to the men right here. Your mother is a black woman. Don't forget that. Don't forget that your sister is a black woman. And as a black man, I stand proudly with Kamala Harris this morning with tears in my eyes.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to this video. Democrat platform.
That's just garbage.
Yeah.
It's just garbage.
Can
Everybody
we be
got to
united
find,
on anything?
can't agree on a damn bucket of chicken. One person want a hot dog.
Always
Black
complain.
folks get on my damn nerves, man. Why everybody making all these celebrities making all these videos going off on Kamala Harris and stuff, and then the black men, Kamala Harris didn't prosecute you and treated you bad in court. I got treated bad in court too, but I'm with her because a vote for her. If you sit at home and you don't support her, you are definitely supporting Donald Trump. You can vote for who you want to, but don't be trying to encourage other people and sit up there and put bad stuff. Where's that same energy for Donald Trump?
These type of multi
that have Kamala Harris done for the black community are things that black people benefit from a lot. We need to stand with her.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
If you deal with the problems in the country.
1,000.
But
yes, we support it.
With her, she's great. She will make a great president. And what a blessing to be living in the time where a black woman can become president of the United States of America. In our time, we get a black man and a black woman become president. That's unheard of.
Come on, man.
Stop it.
Messy. Be on the right side of history. Be on the right side of history.
It's just the Amber Rose and everybody got all these videos and stuff and talking about Kamala Harris talking out of both sides of her. How would you say something so disrespectful? Even if you felt that way, I wouldn't dare make a video or say nothing like that to the vice president of the United States of America that's trying to stand up and that's going to possibly pick 2 United States Supreme Court justices or whatever to try to keep the laws in place that Thurgood Marshall and all of the people that have paved the way and try to redo and get back into some of this settled law, women's rights to choose your voting rights, and Brown versus the Board of Education. Do your homework.
I'm just going to be honest with you. This man
was criminal arrest this year. Here's what he had to say.
What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before. This is their way of campaigning. And this is one instance, but you have 3 other instances. It's election interference.
You ain't gonna win the election no way, you racist bastard.
What? This is the
Okay, so now with that all being said, first of all, thank you, DSB, for gifting another membership, beloved. I appreciate you. And also thank you, Timber Dan, for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings to you both. Now, what I want to say is, Ricky sat there and said out of his mouth that, why would you say something like that? That is so disrespectful. And even if I felt that way, I wouldn't say it. Well, guess what? That's exactly the way I feel when Kabami said, no, I'm not going to do anything specifically for Black people. So let's be clear about that, okay? Even if she felt that way, she didn't have to say it so disrespectfully with the whole neck roll and all of that, and with sass, okay? She could have kept that to herself or answered it in a more politically correct way, as far as I'm concerned.
You know what this makes me think of? This would make me think of back when Obama became president, and you would hear these black celebrities say they just happy that he the president and that's it. I mean, that's it? No. You got to require, you got to demand something of them. We didn't have, I know all of us probably, out here in the work world have had a Black person that might have been your supervisor or whatever, and you might have had one that was horrible, or you might have had one that was good and knew how to look out for our folks. You would have had it both ways. But that's the same message that I'm getting again is, okay, she the president and that's it, and then you just walking around happy while you're
exactly
starving. I left some words out. Your Black behind out here starving to death, and you not requiring anything. We see the same damn script over and over every damn 4 years. Because this is something I've been seeing for the longest, and I can't find it yet. I've still been looking. How much money do both parties allocate and spend to campaign to the Black communities? What is that percentage? They do the same thing. They go run up into churches. Then they keep talking about something on crime, but crime is mainly on us. And it's the same script over and over and over and over and over and stuff. And I just get tired of hearing it. When I started pinpointing the true erosion and the buffoonery of the presidency was first when Ross Perot and then that other guy who was part of the Klan threw their hat in the arena. Keep that in mind too as well. They were out here testing the public to see what would they will go for, and we just see more fear tactics that they use it. So they just keep wanting to throw these fear tactics at us. It's always at us. Now look at this. When Biden was out there, couldn't hardly speak during the debate and stuff. They was already, before the debate, they was already on us like, you gotta, you're gonna have him here and he gonna get in here and everything gonna go horrible. Then they had a delay because they was trying to figure, oh Lord, he can't even speak no more, which they been knew he couldn't even speak no more. So it took the energy off of us just for a few days. Now that energy then went right back to the Black community using these same damn fear tactics. It's the same script just played over. It's like remixing music at the end of the day. To me,
well, the most prominent thing they use to me is pandering, and they continue to do it because it works. If Black people are going to continue to fall for it, why would they change their tactics? They continue to do that because that's what they've always done, and Black people say to continue to be foolish enough and obtuse enough to fall for it. Malcolm X was talking about the same thing back decades ago in the 60s. Malcolm X was talking about that at the end of the day, and then nothing has changed since then because Black people just are woefully ignorant in some cases. It is true. Some of us are woefully ignorant as far as I'm concerned. That's just what it is. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to Malcolm X saying exactly what's going on right now in 2020.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the Black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling and taking for.
Okay, so the same old tactics because black people allow them to do so. They pander to us every election cycle. Kamala had Megan Thee Stallion up there on stage twerking. Okay, they did the same thing in 2020. They had Salsa Santana and Trina the rapper with that song, No Voting, No Vucking. It's always something to do with sex, as if that's all black people are into. Second of all, I meant to spell that rather than saying it, but anyway. And then also they had the strippers on the poles, get your booty to the poles. This is something that they always do. They go to black churches, okay. Andrew Yang was in a black church with a choir robe on, clapping off beat. And then you had Kabami walked into a restaurant, dancing to Cardi B. Okay, you had Hillary pulling hot sauce out of her purse. Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall and played the saxophone. So I'm just saying, these are things that black people obviously love because they keep voting for it. They keep going along with the same program. This is what they keep doing. And then foolishly, some of our people will still vote for someone just because they're black, which is so ignorant. They didn't learn anything from Obama. So anyway, someone else can go ahead and speak on it. Then I'm going to play Steve Harvey after that, his response to Dr. Umar. Lisa, you have anything you want to say?
Well, I mean, our people are never going to learn. I mean, that's why I don't even get into a lot of conversations when I'm face to face with people, because the ones that vote, you know, all they're going to do is just, well, if you don't vote, you're not going to get nothing. We don't get nothing anyway. And I don't know why our people are out here. That's why I thought what Ricky Smiley said was a joke. What are we getting?
Exactly.
We never got anything. So what are we getting?
That's why Trump said in 2020, what have you got to lose? Isn't that what he said? Didn't he say, what have you got to lose? Because we never get anything. That's exactly why he said that. We don't get anything. So you had nothing to lose because you never got anything to begin with. Okay, it's a whole bunch of foolishness going on, and it's really starting to get on my nerves. Like, I am so disappointed with black people. And now they want to sit here and act like Trump supporters are the ones being divisive, but these Kabami supporters are being divisive too. I mean, listen to how harsh Ricky Smiley was going in on people, and D.L. Hughley also, and Steve Harvey. And now let me ask you all this. What do you all think about them allegedly, Kamala's team, allegedly offering Dr. Umar $10,000? Because I'm not shocked at all.
It's not surprising, because if you remember, last year they had openly offered to pay influencers on social media. That was the Democratic Party that did that. Mm-hmm. And they were telling them to name their price. Some of these people got Land Rovers, some got houses, and all kinds of money just to push the Democratic agenda on their on their channels.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and you know what? This is not what you're saying. This is not anything new to me, because I remember when Bill Clinton had first ran for office, and I distinctly remember there's a black pastor up here in the Bay Area by the name of John Amos, who was very instrumental in saying that we didn't deserve reparations. He was working with the governor of California up here. And back then, they were offering the pastors of the black churches $50,000. I'll never forget that. So this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing new with the Democratic Party.
Well, we definitely know they have them in their pockets because every election cycle, they're the main ones trying to convince black people to vote for the Democrats. At the end of the day, these black bootleg pastors, they love doing it. But what I will say is they were strategic in asking Dr. Umar, in my opinion, because they thought that they would be able to buy him with the offer of $10,000 because I'm sure they know that he's collecting money for that school. Okay, so that's why they asked him. That's why they asked him, and I bet their faces were so cracked when he turned them down. See, everybody can't be bought and sold at the end of the day.
But $10,000 ain't even no damn money.
That ain't even worth it.
No, it's not a lot of money, but at the end of the day, they probably thought that he would jump on it because he needs money for that school.
Oh Lord.
Yep. And if they offered him $10,000, like I said, I wonder how much they offered people like Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and Ricky Smiley.
Trust me, if I'm
Steve
sure
Harvey
they
did it for free.
Best believe it was more than $10,000. But Steve Harvey, in my opinion, I mean, look.
Hold on, Lisa, 1 second. Hold on 1 second, please. Hold that thought. Okay. Somebody said in the chat, I don't see who said it. I forgot. Okay, Pookie Bear 97 said, I don't believe Umar. Well, Dr. Umar provided receipts, and I'm quite sure he wouldn't just come out and tell a lie like that. That could easily be debunked if it were a lie, and then he could be sued for defamation, libel, and slander, beloved. I'm sure Dr. Umar, who has a PhD, has a whole lot more sense than that.
Then we need to look at who Kamala is bringing up. Kamala's not sitting down talking to black people. She's entertaining us with the black people that are rapping, people that don't represent us. Like Malcolm X said, when have you ever seen a white entertainer lead white people to anything?
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. But Tina, hold on 1 second. Let Lisa finish because I cut her off to speak to that person. Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh no,
there you can go, Tina.
What I was gonna say is Steve Harvey has this reputation of always telling us to kind of stand down, you know, and we saw this over the Steve Harvey, and you know, a lot of times that's why he was called out. I mean, look at what he did to Monique. When Monique was trying to stand up for herself, he was pretty much trying to shut her down. And then when he had Kamala in front of him interviewing her, oh no, don't be asking about no reparations and this, you know what I mean?
That's what it said.
That is not the spokesperson for the community. But see, they'll hop on somebody like Steve Harvey because they know he ain't going to challenge the system. He ain't going to never challenge the system or challenge that politician up in his face. So, you know, any interview he's going to do with Kamala is going to be softball.
Yeah, he said that.
Tough questions.
He already said that. He said, don't come calling to my show or leaving no comments talking about you ain't asking no tough questions. He said, this ain't what that is. This is what he said. But here's his response. And then, Tina, I'm going to let you go. This is his response to Dr. Umar, because Dr. Umar not only said that he turned down the money, but he also said that he believed that Steve Harvey and the rest of them were paid.
Let me clear the air on something.
Please.
You can't hire Steve Harvey for $10,000 to do nothing. I don't know where you got that number from, but you can't offer Steve Harvey $10,000 to do nothing. You can go through the industry and ask about me. Omar, let me tell you something, man. And there ain't no hate here at all, because I like some of the work he does. I really do.
Yeah. He said
I don't do nothing. Nothing for $10,000. Don't even insult the brand equity that I've built over these 30 years of television.
Okay, he needs to sit down somewhere because first of all, Dr. Umar never said that Steve Harvey got paid $10,000. He said that he himself was offered $10,000. So Steve was clearly gaslighting and deflecting. Go ahead, Tina.
Oh, I mean, you played the clip already. I was going to talk about when he said he could not be bought for $10,000, and Umar was talking about what they offered him, not you, Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey claimed he did it for free. No, you did it so that you can keep your show and keep doing what you're doing.
I'm pretty sure he got paid. Him, Ricky, and DL. I mean, let's think about how DL was going so adamantly against Kamala, and then all of a sudden he does a 360. And then he says out of his own mouth that JD Vance, if for him to do a 360 and change his mind about Trump, then he has to be a dishonest person or he was bought. So the same applies to him and Kabami. Okay.
Right. The same DL that tried to chastise the Black community for not grieving the loss of Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth, right. Are we supposed to listen to this fool?
Dragging his butt on that.
God. I almost forgot about that. Yes, he did go in on us. Like, I'm sorry. Why are we supposed to be crying because she's dead? Please make it all make. What has she ever?
My queen.
What has she ever done for us? I didn't even understand why the Black people in the UK were crying for her, let alone the ones over here. He is ridiculous. Woefully ignorant is all I'm saying.
Our people are just lost. I mean, we so used to not asking for nothing. We're so used to not knowing. We're so used to not being included to the table that we won't build our own table. And then the messed up part is that there are other people running for president, but it is not, to me, it's not fair that you don't hear about the Green Party or the Independent Party. You know, like everybody, there's other people running for president. And then the church, back to about the church raising money. The church won't do anything. Black churches barely can pay anybody a light bill. Yet you raising money for a woman who's supposed to represent Black people who are using that money to put out ads that are fake, basically changing the headlines. Like, what is
the church fund? Every church got one. The numbers never move.
You know, and I thought it was interesting too, that people in Kamala's community, her real community, the Indian community, some of them are going in on her now, talking about how she's not really, what's the word I'm looking for? She's not really acknowledging her Indian side now. See, now she wants to act like she's all Black and all that. Okay. And this is, I believe, Vivek Ramaswamy, who I can't stand, but he was talking about it.
All right. Vivek, I want to give you a chance to react to that. No doubt it's going to get attention. It already is.
Yeah, so look, on a very personal level, my parents were immigrants to this country, legal immigrants from southern India. Very same part of India that her mother also immigrated from. I think it's a hard fact, Martha, it's just a fact, whether you like it or not, that many Indian Americans in the United States are indeed somewhat offended by the way Kamala has suddenly cast aside the Indian American side of her identity. She leaned into it when she ran for office in California. Big Asian American and Indian American population. So she wore that when it was convenient. She's wearing a different identity now when it's politically convenient on a national stage. Personally, I don't think we should be relying on these ethnic identities at all. We're actually American. And the problem is when you're Kamala Harris and you actually do lean into your identity politics, then you open the door to that type of criticism. But if you ask me, that shouldn't be how this election is decided one way or another. It should be decided on our own identity as Americans and what our vision is for the future of the country. And the number one thing missing in Kamala Harris's candidacy is that she lacks that vision for the country. That's what we got to focus on.
Okay. Very interesting to hear from you and to hear your call for a reset in your party.
Now, what do y'all have to say about that? Because I find it all interesting. Yeah, like he said, she leaned into it when she was running in California. But now every time there's an election cycle, she did the same thing when she was running for president in 2020. And then she was all blackity black with Bantu knots and all of that at the Black Panther movie. And then now here she is, and I'm Black, y'all, and I'm Black, y'all. There she is again. So I just
and pulling the hot sauce out of her purse.
When she went on the cooking show with the other lady, she was like, "Oh my God!" And I forgot what the lady that does the cooking show.
Mindy, it's Mindy.
Mindy, and they were like, "Oh my God, we always us Indian people, we whisper like, you know, she's Indian." Basically, they were saying she's everything but Black, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make these dishes and stuff." You know, her heritage, her culture, right? Her Indian culture, nothing Black. But when she comes to us, she insults us by telling us how she washed her collard greens
in the tub,
in the bathtub.
Yeah,
who does that?
Who washed their collard greens in the bathtub?
That was what Kamala was using.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I never heard of that one.
Yeah, that's her Blackness.
I
And
showed
then,
that video yesterday, I believe.
Oh,
It
that's
was
new.
yesterday.
That's some news to me. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
she
I
had
heard
her
about
hot
that
sauce.
yesterday.
Yeah, she had her hot sauce. She's doing all this. I mean, it's an insult because that's what you see. Black people, we created almost every invention here in America. Everything that people are using, like I said on the other show, from air conditioning to cars to spotlights to GPS. And then when you come to get our vote, because the Black vote is important, because we're the deciding vote on this scale. See, everybody is on the scale, but what makes our vote is important is what is going to, because if they win the popular vote, the electoral college is going to have to come up with a way to make sure that whoever they want to win. But we are the deciding factor. That's what we're not getting.
But we're supposed to be we're supposed to be the minority, and given those statistics, we don't even supposed to exist. So why y'all want the Black vote so bad?
Exactly.
Let me say this real quick, you guys. Let me just throw this in real quick. Mindy's brother, I just saw somebody put that in the chat, and I forgot about that. Mindy, the same woman who had her on the cooking show, did you all know that her brother admitted to faking being Black?
Yes.
Isn't that something? Yes. And so that's what Kabami's doing, the same thing. Faking being Black. Okay, at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And he did that. And here's the thing. He did that when he applied for medical school. Why? Because you can get certain grants and things if you're a minority, if you're a Black person or whatever. And at the end of the day, like I told people, when they were saying Ricky Smiley's like, oh, she went to an HBCU, that doesn't mean anything. She could have just gone there so she could get some special grants or something. Who knows? At the end of the day, because they can benefit being Black from being Black when it's convenient for them. Then they can go back to being who they really are culturally.
Exactly. Because she got that degree that she got from the HBCU and went over there and tormented Black families with that degree, with the position that degree helped her get. So we're not telling the truth. Like, this woman ran for president before, and we're just acting like she didn't when all her truths came out, and we're arguing with each other about what she did when all her truths came out when she ran for president and she dropped out.
Yeah, that's when she dropped out. When all other truth was revealed. That's right. Biden sure did call her out at the end of the day, and she couldn't deny any of it because she knows there's facts and receipts and proof.
You know what that makes me think of? I'm glad that Tina brought up what she brought up. Think about what they've been saying about since she's been the vice president, how the staff in there were grumbling that she doesn't manage folks very well. You know, it's just always a lot of tension and attitude and all of that. You know, do y'all remember hearing that? I remember Lisa talking about it on her channel.
I remember some. Oh yeah, she gonna go tenfold with that stuff if she wins.
Oh Lord, have mercy. Ooh, she gonna be hard to deal with then.
She's not gonna be hard for me to deal with. She's gonna be hard for these fools that's voting for her to deal with.
Right. That's why Simone, that's why Simone, what's her name? Simone Sanders had to run her bald-headed ass the hell up on out of there because she couldn't deal with Kamala.
That's right. That's right. The tension was thick.
I don't know how true it was. It was a picture going around on Juneteenth during the Juneteenth celebration at the White House. They were showing her and a bunch of white people sitting down, but then you see the Black staff standing around serving all of them, and Kamala and her lookalikes, white people, were around. So I don't know if those were real pictures or not, but those pictures was floating around during her Juneteenth celebration, how the Black people were serving. I mean, of course, maybe it's their job, but I mean, when she's in her element, when Kamala stands with her family, she doesn't represent a Black family.
No,
no, of course she doesn't. Of course she doesn't. And you know, like I said, these people that are just going so hard in the paint for her, they're all part of these Greek fraternities and sororities that she's also a part of. So they're going to stick together. These are the Black Boule. They're going to stick together no matter what. That's what they're going to do. And they want her to win because to them, it's a clout chase. I mean, just listen to how Ricky Smiley was talking so adamantly about you're going to have a Black woman. And even in that same spiel, he talked about how she was an AKA and he's Omega Psi Phi and all of this, you know, and just naming all of these sororities and fraternities. Like, who cares? What the hell does that have to do with the price of tea in China? How is that going to help me to have a better life? How is that going to help the economy or stop illegal immigrants from coming over here and stop the government from giving them free benefits that they could give to the homeless people on the streets or give to their own citizens who need it?
True. And then let's talk about how she's robbing a real black woman who could run for president, but she took the title as the VP, the first so-called black, even though she ran as a South Asian. And now she's taking the title as the first black woman when your family didn't even go through anything here.
Yeah.
It was true about her dad owning slaves. His family owned slaves. So we get nationality mixed up because this man, we keep saying, oh, she's black because her dad was a Jamaican. Now you see them put out pictures would make her dad look more blacker than his skin is darker than what it is. And and then you turn around and now the dad was over there because his family owned slaves, not because you was a Jamaican born, dark-skinned, melanated Jamaican. You weren't over there because you were born to a black woman. Where's her grandparents' pictures at?
Her grandparents look just like her mother.
Thank you.
They look just
But
like
you
her
got
mother.
black people that, oh, she is black. It's like, why do y'all invite everybody to the barbecue and you the only ones not eating?
Out of ignorance. Out of ignorance. That's why. And like you, okay, Jamaican
use that one.
out of ignorance. And for one thing, like you said, Tina, Jamaica is a nationality. Jamaican. That's what I said. Okay, it is not a race. At the end of the day, her mother's race is Caucasian. That's what was on her birth certificate. Her father said he's Irish and Indian. So how did she get black in there? And then let me just tell you all this. Did you all happen to see the video? I showed this a couple of days ago where they got some man who's supposedly a member of her family or whatever. And then he had this heavy Jamaican accent and he looked like he was racially ambiguous. And so he was saying, yeah, she's absolutely from Jamaica. And they were in Jamaica talking to him. He's like giving a tour of Jamaica, like trying to convince us she's from Jamaica. Like, sir, we know she's from Jamaica. We believe that her father's from Jamaica, but that does not make her black. If being from Jamaica makes her black, then being from South Africa makes Elon Musk black too. Okay, that's
exactly. You know, Elon Musk is an African American. Isn't Elon Musk an African American?
He's actually, that's what people like that are. Like I told people, I don't identify as an African American because Elon Musk, Charlize Theron, those are African Americans. There are people from Africa, right? And then they're in America. So isn't that what we should be calling them, not us? It's just like Chinese Americans or Asian Americans and all of that. Mexican Americans. So how am I African American? I never even been to Africa. Please make it all make sense.
Thank you.
Yeah. Plus, I don't want to be what Elon Musk is. So
I mean, I had friends
I'm sorry, go ahead. You cut out.
Oh, I said I had friends that worked with. I had cousins that worked with white people here in Walmart in Florida, and they were shocked because the white people listed themselves as African, as Africans because they were born in Africa.
Yeah,
doesn't mean that because you're born that your skin color, is where you're born at is your nationality. But we need people that represent Black American, American, the people who look like our grandparents. Right.
Exactly. Okay. So, and that's my point. You can be born somewhere, but that doesn't make you an indigenous person. Okay, one of the indigenous people of that place. Okay, because we know that Africans are heavily melanated like us. So Elon Musk and Charlize Theron, just because they're born in South Africa and raised there, doesn't make them African. And that's what I'm saying. So how do they keep trying to force it on us that she's Black because her father is from Jamaica, when he himself said he's Indian and Irish? You can't make that make sense. And all it is foolish Black people being nonsensical and painting narratives as per usual, and that don't want to face the truth. Okay, these are the type of Black folk that will cut off their nose to spite their face. And they're going to see that's exactly what they did if she wins.
And Queen, how long did he stay in Jamaica? What I want to know is how long did they live in Jamaica? When did they move from Jamaica? You keep trying to tell us that your father was Jamaican. If he was born in Jamaica, what was his family owned slaves? So he wasn't there Just like, you know, he wasn't there because he was a slave. He was there because his parents was taking over other black people. Duh.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I was thinking of back to when Obama was president, and I don't know who it was. One of them black comedians said, "Well, you know, black folks don't get upset. You know, this is his first round, and we know he gonna get reelected. And then when he get reelected, then he gonna do something for black folks. No, they not gonna never do nothing." That's
exactly.
that's what we have to understand. That's like when like the woman who believed that Paula Deen was gonna do something for her. She was sitting up there waiting for Paula Deen to hand her some money.
Yeah, but that's what black people always be doing.
And you know what? My father
really annoyed.
This is something about my dear father, bless his heart, taught me this. He said paper holds a lot of weight in court. We got to take care of our damn paperwork and be about our business. We got to be about our business, you know?
Well, we could say that all day, but the bottom line is many black people is not going to be about it.
No,
many black people are just absolutely fine with people pandering to us and just giving us symbolisms, symbolic gestures. Many black people are fine with that. If they weren't, the Democrats wouldn't continue to do it. They continue to do it because black people absolutely don't put up a fuss, don't ask for anything in return for their votes, and just go along to get along. That's what they do.
Yeah, and they need to stop, like Tina was saying, because I felt what she was saying clearly. This system, see, we've been affected by the system that we shame to sue them, we shame to demand what's ours. Like if you got a young adult child that's still at home or a teenager that's still at home and they out there working, have them to go study in whatever state you in, their rights as a person that's working, so they'll know their rights and stuff. That's the things that I did with my children, so they knew that what their rights were. And one of my children, I ain't gonna give up their name. I just say this: they messed over the wrong child, and he ran they behind through the courts because he knew his rights. He knew his rights, and he got
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and thank you, Ebony Eyes, for putting that in the chat, saying for the people in the back, Jamaica is not a race, it's a nationality. Exactly, that's what I keep saying, because I see some people putting in the chat that she's Jamaican or whatever. I don't care what she is, she ain't black. Okay, that's just what it is. Okay, you can't convince me she is. I saw her birth certificate and I saw what was on there, and there was nothing on it that said either of her parents were in fact black. There was nothing on there that said that. So I'm sorry.
And another thing about her, even though she's from the Bay Area and all, when it was time for her to go to high school, she went to high school up in Canada.
Yeah, I know. I talked about that. Exactly.
So
she lived there for quite a while. And that's another thing she lied about, because when she was going in on Biden in 2020 about the segregationists that he was with and how he was against busing and all of that, she mentioned that she was one of those girls. She said, I was the little girl who was bused or something like that. And so that affected me. Girl, sit down. You were in Canada. The end of the day.
That's why that lets you know how they will lie. She sat right here and lied in our face. That lets you know she's trying to attach herself to the American blackness so that she can just get that black vote. That
like she had the true black experience. She went to an elementary school in Berkeley, California. Okay. And then I can't even tell you what junior high school she went to.
Because she didn't go to, you can't tell because she didn't go to one here. She moved to Canada when she was 12. So she went to middle school. She went to junior high school in Canada.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that cleared that up real quick. Thank you.
So it's a whole lot of lies being told. And like I said, they're sitting here talking about people, other people telling lies, but the Democrats lie all the time. That's what they always do. The only thing different than them, between them and the Republicans, is that the Republicans are blatant with the things they do, and the Democrats do things underhanded, and they go through the back door. They're more conniving and deceitful. You know, just like Malcolm X said decades ago, that the liberals are the fox. The fox is sly. You don't see the fox coming, but you see the wolf, and you know what the wolf's all about. So that's who Kamala and these Democrats, that's what they are. And that's why they think they're so slick. And they're only slick to the ones of us that are brainwashed, indoctrinated, and who suffer from Stockholm syndrome. Because I don't see how anybody can sit here and cape for Kamala. If you're a black person, you have to be insidiously obtuse. Now, at the end of the day, if you feel voting for her is the best thing for you, if you feel like her policies, which I haven't heard about her policies as of yet, I'm still waiting, but if you feel like her policies are going to benefit you more specifically, okay, then I understand why you're voting. But at the same time, why are you praising her like she's the second coming? Because she's nobody worthy of praise from black people, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how you can ignore the fact that she ever fixed her mouth to say so boldly and blatantly and with her entire chest that she's not going to do anything for black people. Like, that's just ignorant to me for any black person to be going so hard in the paint, especially the ones that are on the brink of tears. Did you hear Ricky Smiley? He said, I had tears in my eyes. Yeah, I bet you did, because you're a whole fool, Ricky Smiley. And he's telling people to block people. Now, I want you to pay attention. He said, if you vote for whoever you want, but don't try to encourage anybody else. But at the same time he's saying this, he's trying to encourage other people to vote for Kabami. So I'm sorry, it's okay for him to do it, to get votes for her, but it's not okay for other people to try to influence people or try to, talk people into voting for whom they're voting for. Okay, how does that even make sense at the end of the day? And then one of his people, one of his co-hosts, was in the background saying, yeah, when Ricky's talking about, oh, she's going to be the first black woman and she's a member of AKA, she could be sworn in by the first black woman Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson. And then his co-host is in the background saying, yeah, but y'all mad because she ain't talking about reparations. So we're supposed to be more concerned about the fact that she's in a sorority, a Greek sorority at that, that's not even a part of our culture, as opposed to reparations. This is how stupid they are. But see, people like Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley, and Steve Harvey, well, they don't care about reparations. They already have their millions. They're already wealthy. But for the average black person who's struggling or going through stuff or who's trying to barely make it by, or the ones that are homeless on the streets, at the end of the day, they do deserve reparations. We all do. I mean, it was no problem when other people got reparations and still continue to get them. In some cases, the atrocities didn't even occur on this soil, but it's okay. And nobody complains about that. But when we ask Kabami, what about black people getting reparations? Well, that's what she told us. But her husband's people got reparations. So I'm just sorry. At the end of the day, these people just sound real stupid to me when they're sitting there going along with this foolishness and then trying to just force feed her down our throats. Okay, you can't change my mind about Kamala because I know the truth. Okay, I know everything about her past. Okay, her record, her track record. I did an expose on her back in 2020 when she was running for president the first time. I did a whole expose on her and compared her to Linda Fairstein, the same devil that lied and had the Central Park 5 sent to prison, okay, due to prosecutorial misconduct. She's just like that lady. She's no different. Just like her.
And then Queen would make it so bad. She used everything you said. She said she's not going to do anything for black people. She has not did an interview. They did the switcheroo. She's running off of Biden policies. That's why Biden was losing. So now they put a face to his policies because she hasn't gave one policy. She can't answer one question. She has not did any interviews. And then they keep telling us, oh, what about Trump? Y'all are not saying anything about Trump. Trump is Trump. Exactly. We hear everything that the Democrats talk about Trump enough, but the Democrats are trying to play a game with us with Kamala when she's flat out in our faces using the black people for her votes while saying she's not going to give us anything. What's so hard about that? She's in office right now. She voted. She helped that bill to get agents protection.
That's right. Exactly, but she can't give us a hate crime bill, and nor will she. Timber Dan, thank you for your contribution to the channel, your insight. He says, should black people be liberal or conservative? Well, I'm not going to tell anybody what they should be. You should be whatever's in your best interest. If you feel like being conservative is best for you, then be conservative. If you feel like being liberal or independent is best for you, then be that. Only person I worry about is myself. But at the end of the day, I don't like people spewing narratives, okay, and telling lies and trying to force people, bully people, shame people, guilt trip people into voting for a specific person. If you want to talk about policy and issues, let's talk about that. If you want to, be a voice of reason or try to ask or tell people why they should vote for a certain candidate, don't base it solely off of their race, ethnicity, or nationality, because that's just idiotic. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm just very blunt with mine. I don't vote at all. I don't support either side. And I keep saying they one and the same. All right. See, people got to realize how deep they go with this stuff. They have psychologists that work with them to teach them how to manipulate us. And knowing the right things to say. They know the right colors to use. They know the right temperatures to even use when you come into a room. I'm telling you something I know. I mean, they even do this stuff when people go to casinos. They know exactly how much air to pipe in and stuff. And they riding the wave. This is the thing that gets me. They ride in the wave of, look at this, black folks. Look what's going on. Lights, camera, action. And then you just supposed to be happy. Oh, she the president. Oh, she the president. I'm hungry, damn it. I want my check.
Yeah, like we suck, like her being the president is going to stick it to the white man. See, white man, we got past your fences and we put a black person up there that's not doing anything.
Well, we know that's BS. We know that's a load of BS because her husband's a white man, so that dog ain't gonna run at the end of the day. So I don't know how they could. I don't know how they could think of that. Think that's gonna be.
And then a VP pick. Oh, he all down to earth. He a coach. He don't.
Why she didn't pick a black man?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care who she's married to at the end of the day. Oh, you're talking about as far as her VP pick?
Yeah, VP pick. They want to use.
Already know
he's down to earth. He's down to earth, and he was a coach, and he was this and that. He don't want us to have our damn reparations either. At the end of the day,
well, at the end of the day, I don't think any of them do. To be honest, it really don't even matter.
They don't.
At the end of the day, the bottom line. The bottom line is the problem with her is that she just blatantly was bold enough to tell it to our face. And when somebody's bold enough to say something with their whole chest to your face, that just lets you know they don't give a F. Okay. Because anybody else that's been asked at least tried to skirt around the topic. Okay. Not that makes it any better, but I'm just saying it's the audacity and the arrogance of it when she said it. And now that same woman who said that needs our votes. Okay, and hasn't done anything but pander. And after the DNC is when she's supposed to give her policies and issues that she's going to talk about. Because I did read somewhere that she's waiting until after the DNC to announce her policies.
Now look at how when after the debate, a few weeks, short weeks after the debate, Biden went to the Black Caucus, and what came out of his mouth? Do y'all remember what came out of his mouth? What he was saying? He was basically saying, oh, you can trust me. You know, he never thought that he was going to have to come back to black folks and lower himself and his psyche and do that. That's why I took joy in watching him sitting up there muffling his words and stumbling around there and shaking the wind. He don't know where he at. I said, that's what your behind get, because I'm going to still keep going back to the black farmers, how he played dumb with them, how he was screaming at black folks and everything like that. You know, what he did was they went out there and went and got some of them we shall overcomers, and they shook off some of that dust, and then they went back to that guilt stuff. Well, black folks, you know, y'all died up there trying to vote, and you all got hung, and you got this and that and stuff. Black folks still dying and still being hung and still being shot in the streets of America. Okay, this sister gets shot up by this man. Biden and Kamala can't run to hurry up and call and talk to her family. Okay, you talk to her family. Now what? You didn't pass. You ain't passed nothing. You don't see us as a protective class. We on our own at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything. More symbolic gestures. I mean, giving a phone call or any of that, it's nothing but symbolic gestures. I mean, Obama did the same thing when Trayvon Martin. He just got up there and gave a speech, but he didn't do anything about it at the end of the day.
And that's what we have to reject. As soon as they come out with them statements, because if they're not going to look, you're a damn lawmaker. If you're not going to put something in place to stop this from happening, then I don't need to hear your statement.
Right.
I don't care about the statement. And it just like Joe Biden after the supermarket killing up there in Rochester, what a horrific thing. You know, that was on Facebook Live, people just falling in the store. And Peyton Gendron, the police didn't even go in there after him. They let him walk out on his own.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden, what does he do? He show up at that location, give a statement, and talk about, let's have a moment of prayer. F your prayer. I ain't praying with no devil. No. When stuff like that happens, I don't want to pray with you. I don't want to hear your statements. If you don't have an action plan and you're not going to sit down and push an executive order out to stop this from happening, I don't want to see or hear from you. Plain and simple.
And here's the thing. Let me tell you something. They think they're real slick because they, in fact, try to use reverse psychology. Because let's not forget how a couple of years ago, during the Biden administration, they were trying to make it as though Black people were attacking Asians. That's why they came up with the Asian hate crime bill. That's why Letitia James in New York had this 1-800 number if Asians felt they were being attacked. And they continue to show these events. And some of them look staged to me because I just had to wonder why all of the Black men they kept showing were always wearing pink. Like they were wearing pink, and that's a very specific color, and that's something that would stand out if you see a man wearing it. So that to me is why they did it. But remember, they were having these videos of Black men attacking Asians, and then they had the one Black guy had on a sweatshirt, a pink sweatshirt. Another one had on a pink blazer. I mean, it was just ridiculous to me. And then they start talking about protect them. Okay, well, protect whoever you want, but nobody's protecting us. And how dare they sit there and act as though we're not the main ones who are in need of a hate crime bill, that we're not the main ones who are hated against. I mean, they have a whole hate groups that specifically target Black people. Okay, why haven't they disbanded these groups like the KKK, who's registered, by the way, as a Christian group? Why haven't they disbanded them like they did the Black Panther Party? Okay, who was out here giving free breakfast to kids, who came up with a WIC program to help pregnant mothers and single mothers, and who were doing good things in the community and spoke out against police brutality. They were not going around terrorizing, harassing, or lynching people. That's what they weren't doing, but they got rid of them because those were Black people that were unified and who were on the same page. But meanwhile, the Klan's allowed to thrive and still be here. And this is just all so crazy. But Kamala said herself out of her own mouth, her and Uncle Tim both said, America's not a racist country.
Well, the reason why they won't get rid of the Klan and the skinheads and groups like that is because
they're in it.
Because your judges, your politicians, your police officers, and your people in Congress and these school teachers, believe it or not, even these school teachers in the classroom with Black children are all in those groups.
Of course they are. They just took off the white robes.
They're not going to ever do anything about it.
Exactly. And that's exactly my point. So when she sits here and says this is not a racist country, she sounds foolish to me. At the end of the day, that's a whole lie and she knows it. Okay.
Well, that right there is telling you, if you think it's not a racist country, then why would you be compelled to do something when something racist happens, like a George Floyd?
Yeah,
you know. So if you deny racism, then there's no need in putting any laws or policies in place.
And that's my point. How do Black people just be all up in a, be so and it seems like they're almost euphoric, some of them, about this woman, to the brink of tears, so touched in their hearts by this woman. Okay, because at the end of the day, who does not relate to us?
They think they don't know what's going on. Black people just look at a couple of shows and go on. They believe that putting a Black woman in office or that this is representing America has changed when your pockets have not changed. Your generational wealth has not changed. You're still suffering. We're still being unalived by the police. And another thing with that executive order is that they were mad because this was during the virus season when this executive order was put in place. I mean, well, afterwards, you remember that a lot of the Asian people, Chinese restaurants and stuff, they lost a lot of business because Black people didn't trust their food, which they're still making fake foods and stuff. So in that executive order, from what I'm understanding that they actually got money in that executive order too.
Yeah, they did get money in that. And here's another thing too. It was also interesting that, and it didn't really make any sense when they tried to paint the narrative that Black people were the ones attacking them, because if that were true, and you know it isn't, because there may be a few Black people that did something so foolish, but at the end of the day, collectively, Black people are not messing with them. And if we were, then why would they be in our neighborhoods? They're not in the suburbs. They're in our neighborhoods, and most of their customers and clientele are Black people. It is Black women who go to the nail salons and go to their beauty supply stores. It is Black people who eat their food. It's more Black people eating their Chinese food, eating at their restaurants than even Chinese people. So that is really ridiculous. And when they're trying to paint that narrative, and then pay attention, because as they painted that narrative, what happens? A white man goes into 6 different Asian spas here in Atlanta and commits a whole mass shooting. Okay,
right, but you know,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and also remember, Queen Ahmadiyya, it was Donald Trump that kept calling it the Chinese virus. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember he was saying that crazy stuff. But my whole thing is,
but it came out to be where they were playing with in the lab. I mean, after all of
well,
this
let's not get into all of that, because I'm not trying to have any problems with you two. But the whole problem is, at the end of the day, they give them a hate crime bill, and they don't want to give anything to us. And it just brushes off the things that go along with us. And as far as what you were saying, Tina, when you were talking about how Black people are still getting killed and all of that, and then still going along with this agenda, the bottom line is Black people were still getting killed when Obama was in office. So, and even more so, it seemed to me. So I'm just saying, didn't they see that? These fools that are sitting there getting mad because we're not being receptive to Kabami, don't they see that? Like, Obama didn't do anything, and it was happening right there when he was in office. But all of us, most of us went up there and voted for him, and most Black people voted for him without even caring or researching any of his policies or anything that he'd done prior to running for president.
You know, I wanted to add that the things that the Asian community have, some of the things that have been implemented for them has actually backfired, because they have been very angry because they can't hit the glass ceiling. There's been a lot of complaints up here in the Bay Area by them because they're not getting hired on the levels that they thought they were going to get hired. Then with the college scandal, see, they were the ones that were so worried about Black folks being in college and questioning how we got in college. And while they did the investigation, that blew up in their face. Okay. And even after everything is said and done, they still upset because they thought they was going to get some type of advantage. And basically they got their money taken from them. They thought that they was going to have these advantages getting in these schools and stuff. And it still didn't work. They got played at the end of the day. Even though, yes, they did get some money here and there and stuff, they still not where they think they should be, because you know it's a lot of Asians up here where I'm at, and they are very upset.
Well, at the end of the day, I don't know why they're upset, because they got more than we did.
Yeah, they sure did.
Anybody's upset.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Care. I don't care what they got or didn't get. I was concerned because we didn't get any damn thing, and they still continue to pander.
We never do. We never
continue to pander for our votes, and then try to shame us if we don't want to go along with their program.
Exactly.
That's right.
And then, like you said earlier, Lisa, and thank you for bringing that to the forefront, because I didn't even know this, but when you said how they're forcing these states to give these illegal people health care and all of that, Obamacare, and then 15 states are standing up and fighting them. They should be standing up and fighting them. Okay, shout out to them, because how are you going to make them do these things at the end of the day? And then it was very interesting to me too, because Lisa, did you know that they supposedly had outside of the DNC that they had these trucks where they were carrying out abortions?
What?
Yes.
Yeah,
did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, and was giving out vasectomies.
Vasectomies and abortions. Okay, I'm sorry. Say what? That's all crazy. And so Kamala's always talking about reproductive health and all this and that, and she's always directed it towards Black women when she's talking about it. Okay, and they're sitting here giving out free abortions at the DNC. First of all, who thinks of this?
Wow.
Who dreams this up? How is that even on your mind? Oh, you know what? When we have the DNC next week, let's give out free abortions. We'll do it in trucks. Who even dreams this up? This is nothing but genocide. Like I said, at the end of the day, there's more than one way to commit genocide on a people. And then they're sitting there talking about, you know, we have to respect our bodies and women have the rights to do what they want with their bodies, but they didn't have that same energy when they were given those mandates for the venom. Okay, they didn't have that same energy then, the same administration. So like I said, they're just full of BS. And if you get Kamala in office, you're going to just have the same thing you had when Joe Biden was in office. And how's that working out for us, Black people? How is that working out for us? Okay, I have questions.
Yep, that's what I've been saying over and over. You know, it's
and
then
they're mad because they.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you got to say.
I was saying they're mad because of with DL Hughley and Ricky Smiley and all them and Steve Harvey. I heard that they're mad because a lot of Black men are not getting behind Kamala. But
yeah, they are mad.
Kamala, you don't trust Black men. None of your family represents Black men. Your husband doesn't. Ketanji, they're cheering for a Black woman. All these powerful so-called Black women, but none of their men behind them are Black.
Are Black. Thank you. But they want Black. But they want Black men to support them. Go ahead, Lisa. I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is your panel. So anyway, if you remember when they selected the Supreme Court justices, that was the complaint a lot of people had. They wanted a Black woman, and every single Black woman that was a nominee had a white husband. Everybody noticed that. And it was like, wait a minute. And you can tell it's a very anti-Black man kind of, thing with the Democratic Party. That's why they're having a problem.
Yes. Like with the secret Zoom meetings, why wasn't it a room full of Black people? Why was it a so-called room full of Black women? And how come nobody else, no other Black women got that invite to that Zoom?
Right.
Like,
exactly. Exactly. And you see what it is they want to put these women in power, these Black women who have white husbands, because they don't want Black women who are empathetic or loyal to the Black man. That's what they don't want. Okay, that's what they don't want. And also, they definitely don't want a full Black man or woman to be running this country, to represent this country. That's what they don't want.
I mean, look at the commercials they push. They never push. You see them using our likeness and everything to make it look like America has overcome racism. But the likeness they use is either a mixed child, a Black woman with an Asian man, a Black woman with a white man, a Black man. There's never the full Black family. If you do, you might get a quick clip because they want us to. They want it. Well, white numbers are being declined in birth rates. Biden said it. This country is doomed. This country is doomed not because of the Black people. You said what was in the back of your head,
right?
But because white people are losing out, and now we need to get the Mexicans or the Hispanic.
They also brought them over here to usurp the votes.
Exactly, because
they're letting illegal people
want America to be.
Right.
We can have a touch of Black, but we don't want y'all niggers in here.
And so they're allowing these illegal people to vote in some of these states, but people who've been here that may have a felony conviction that they've already served time for or whatever, or just, they don't want them to vote, but you can allow a felon, Donald Trump, to run for presidency. How does that even make sense?
I had raised that.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Okay, so you can't vote if you got a felony, but you can still be president with a felony.
That don't make no sense.
They have to leave the door open.
So hold on.
Right, you can tell criminals came up with these policies.
But hold on, Lisa. Here's the question. So if the president or the person running for president is a felon, but felons can't vote, can the felon that's running as president vote for himself?
No, that wouldn't. Donald Trump be not able to vote.
That's funny. That is funny.
What do we think is going to happen in September the 18th? Let's think about it. They making us go for Kamala. She's not doing nothing. She's waiting. When is because think about it. Donald Trump is supposed to be sentenced on September
the 18th. That's right.
Yeah,
that's why she's stalling.
What happens here? Like what is the Trump card? What are we really waiting for?
Yeah, and see, that's why she hasn't announced any of her policies, because she's waiting for him to get sentenced. And meanwhile, he's behind the scenes trying to get them to delay his sentencing, because he's hoping that it's after the election. So if he's the president, of course, he'll just pardon himself or whatever. Or he doesn't even have to. He doesn't have, hold on. He doesn't have to, because now they made the law that the president can't go to jail.
Did you hear the latest thing Trump did? Well,
what's that?
Trump spoke to Netanyahu, and he was asking him not to do a ceasefire. Let the war go on until he's
after,
elected, and then do the ceasefire. That way Trump can take the credit. So he's telling them, go ahead, kill all them people. Just wait until I'm elected.
Somebody told me that. Somebody told me that yesterday.
I want the credit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Isn't that crazy? Because he said if it happens now, then Biden will get the credit. Somebody told me that yesterday, that he said something like that. Thank you, Timber Dan, for your contribution to the channel and for your insight into the topic. Timber Dan said, and yet some folks still want Trump to be president. Exactly. But you know what? A lot of people are saying, and I get so annoyed when I hear people say this, that we have to choose between the lesser of two evils. Honey, I don't have to choose evil in any form ever. Okay, that's what I don't have to do. See, that's what gets on my nerves, because Black people will sit here and act as though we have to choose. No, we don't. There's independents running, or you could just not vote at the end of the day.
That's because they've been conditioned to believe that. I
Yeah.
used to hear that even back when I was a child. Yo, you may not like both of them, but you got to vote for somebody. You've been conditioned to believe that.
You have to do a damn thing.
Right. And then they love to bring up and say, well, our ancestors died for our right to vote, trying to guilt us once again and shame us. First of all, you can't compare that, because first of all, they didn't die, they were murdered.
No,
that's for number one. And for number two, that was decades ago. And those same ancestors, if they saw what was going on right now here in 2024, I'm sure they'd agree with those of us who are level-headed and use critical thinking skills.
There you go.
They were trying to gain their freedom, not only for themselves, but for the community. That's what they were trying to free themselves from. Voting was never going to be an option of freedom for the community.
You know what's so sad, given now that we can get information literally at our fingertips in a matter of seconds, that you still got some of our folks believing Lincoln freed the slaves. Not digging into our truest history. It's there. I don't care how hard they try to suppress it. It is there.
Well, slavery didn't end anyway ever. We still have slavery. It's just called the prison. It's just called the prison industrial complex. Because anytime you're locked up, you have to work for free or for $1 after you've worked hours all day. That's still slavery. And matter of fact, down in Louisiana at the Angola prison, which used to be an Angola plantation, they literally have them out there picking cotton.
Yes.
They still have prisoners picking cotton. So slavery didn't go anywhere. They just changed it. And like I tell my people all the time, at the end of the day, they still have the same tactics, the same rules. They just change them and call them something else, but it's still the same old soup.
Same old. There you go.
Exactly. Same stuff.
Absolutely.
Different day.
Yes.
So with that all been said, we're 2 hours in, so I'm going to go ahead and get ready to wrap this up. If anyone has any closing words, after I'm going to play, I'm going to have a word from my sponsor one more time, and then we can go ahead and wrap up.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, and for those of you who don't know, Lisa Cabrera is the owner of 12 Tribes, and she's also the one who makes the products. Okay, so with that all being said, I'll start with Lisa, and then True Royal, and then Tina, then I'll go last if you all have any closing remarks.
I make the products, and because I make them, it works. So anyway, y'all,
Exactly.
anything can happen during this election season. But what I would ask our people to do, don't put everything into these people, because we already got a standing history. No matter who's in office, they don't do for us. They really don't.
That's right.
You know, they just come around every 4 years to get you excited over a bunch of nothing at the end of the day.
That is exactly what they do. Go ahead, True Royal.
Well, all I'm gonna say is, because I didn't say it enough about Kamala and Trump and all, we are still in the retrograde phase. So retrograde will be ending mid September, and it will be kicking back up the very day of the election. And retrograde is very, very real. These moons are full. There's nothing to fear. All right. The reason why the enemy wants you to fear these things, because either they can't conquer it or they don't understand it, because they want you to fear it. We live in a fear-based society. We have been surviving this long, and we will continue to survive. Like my father taught me, do your own thinking. Ashe to the royal family.
All right, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Tina, beloved.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this. Like I say on my channel, let Rome fall. Let this bitch burn. It's time for America to just go down, because what the fear is that the white man cannot keep his position of wealth. So he's doing everything he could to live this comfortable life off the backs of us and everybody else. So the only thing that we need to do is start to separate. We need to start finding other ways to live in this place called America as a nationalist. And I land my plane.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, Tina, do you want to mention anything about the micronation that we're building?
Yes. We are building a micronation. We have been paying for land. Me, Kathy B, it's some other people, but me and Kathy B, we have been paying for land. We are putting aside a few acres so that we can either do business or build a community. We have lots of ideas, but we want to get this land to be considered a national landmark, kind of like, basically like the Indians with their reservations. So we're going to be having a fundraiser because we need to have this land surveyed. We want to be able to camp out there. I mean, it's in the making, but right now it's ours because we paid for it. So we want everybody else to do that. Start getting your duckies together and be committed to buying some land, and then let's do something with it. We're using ourselves as examples. So Akibalon is here. Right now we're a digital micronation, but we have some land, and because you in America, we still have to follow the American rules. That's why we're trying to find every an international or national law that we can go under to get out of this American system.
Yeah, may I say something real quick? Because I'm glad that she said what she said. If anybody own any land, make sure you secure your mineral rights.
Yes.
I cannot emphasize that enough, because I know somebody in my family whose mineral rights are secured, and they get them a check every month because there's some oil on the land that they have not tapped into. All right.
All right. That's good advice.
All right.
That's good advice. Okay, so with that all being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank my guests for coming on the panel. It was a very interesting and significant topic that we discussed. At the end of the day, I would just tell everyone, to vote for whomever is in your best interest. I'm going to be voting for Dr. Shiva. I absolutely cannot with Trump or Kamala, and I don't believe in the phrase that they love to say, voting for the lesser of the two evils. Evil is still evil, regardless. So with that all been said, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Everyone, please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And also, Lisa, True Royal, and Tina, give people your YouTube channel information and any other information you want to give them before we roll out.
Okay. If you can see up here, my YouTube channel, it'll be at Tina Berry Speaks, because you know YouTube kind of gave us a handle. But if you see it, it say Straight No Chaser with the Queen, so it's right there. So you can look me up at Tina Berry Speaks or Straight No Chaser with the Queen, and then follow us.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Lisa.
Well, mine is real simple. Lisa Cabrera is my name. So all you gotta do is type that in and you will find me.
Okay, and True Royal.
Okay, I'm gonna put the link in. I call us the True Royal Family. That speaks for itself. We are the true and the only royals. No,
y'all not the only royals. Now hold on.
We're the only ones. We the only royals on this planet. That's
okay, on the planet. Okay, I thought you were going to say Str8. Now, let me tell you about something funny. So when I first got my channel, I said, what am I going to call my people? Then I said, first I was calling them the Royal Family. And then one of my moderators, well, they weren't my moderator at the time, but this guy told me, he was like, he emailed me, he was like, Queen, there's already a True Royal Family. So that sounds so similar to yours. So I just changed it to the Royals, but it was initially the Royal Family. And I was like, who is this True Royal? Because I had never heard of you. I was like, who is True Royal? Okay, so with that all being said, everyone enjoy the rest of this evening. I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got